bottom right-hand side, our blue Zerg. Representing Argo, it is Elazer. And the top left-hand side, we have got our red Terran player from Team Liquid. This is Clem. All right, game number 1 of this best of 5. We all know Clem, we all know Elazer. They don't need really any introductions of their own, but Elazer is obviously an interesting story because Elazer has really battled from being the best player in Europe at one point, quite a long time ago now, to having slumped, being memed around a little bit, and just never quite consistently catching that greatness again. Like, yeah, he shows up every now and then and he looks fantastic. He has a day where he can beat anyone. He beats Cyril. You know, he could beat Ro4 maybe. You know, even sometimes in those Zelnaga finals, we're talking about those, he can beat Clem there too, earlier in the year. But it's never, you know, he's never quite had that consistency again. I'm actually looking at the results. Last time Elazer and Clem played an official series was in May. And that's because they've just not met in any of the DreamHack events. They've been in different groups. Elazer missed out on advancing from the groups the first time around. He fell pretty quickly in the second time we had DreamHack. Lost to Geralt in that elimination match in the lower bracket. So the last time they played was in May. Elazer won 2-0. That was actually in a WardiTV tournament. I'm trying to think if I remember that, but I don't really. The Spring Championship Group B. I feel like I remember Elazer winning, but not how the games went. But before that, it's just a slew of domination from Clem. 3-0 in the Red Bull event, 3-1 in Global Clan, 2-0 in a TSL qualifier, 1-2 in a different TSL qualifier, 2-0 in the qualifier before that, 2 in another Zelnaga finest event. Clem has won a lot of these series this year. He is something like 10-4 or more against Elazer this year. So Clem's really had his number and has been the stronger player throughout. And he will start with a 3cc here in this first game of the series. So 3cc playing a bit of a macro focus as Clem going to take this Reaper toward the center. The third hatchery of Elazer already setting up, and that will be done fairly soon. Elazer looking on his side of the map. He gets link speed, keeps one worker in gas. He does end up with that forward hatchery being taken instead of the bottom one. And that's basically where we stand right now for the first couple minutes. It's going to be okay. Clem, though, second rack's already on the way. So he's just going to go bio very quickly off this 3cc. And this gives you that kind of like 2-1-1-esque kind of feeling of the build. Where you are going to end up, it's going to be like 6 minutes or 5:45 instead of 4:45. But you're still going to have that stim, you're still going to get 2 medevacs, and you're still going to have the ability to be on the map pretty quickly. Only you're going to have the 3 command centers behind this, so you're going to have good, strong eco. It's just going to be off the 4 Hellions this one, because, again, you want to put this barracks on the reactor already. The factory goes over here, we'll build the reactor for the starport, and that's basically, you know, that's where we're going. So the downside is only 4 Hellions. You have to be very cautious with these. Not really much chance to go running by and killing a bunch of drones or anything like that. You can't even be that aggressive because you kind of need some Hellions at home just in case of a run-by because you're going into Marines now. You know, if all your Hellions on the map and a big Ling run-by hits the other side of the map, you're in so much trouble because you're only producing Marines. It's not like you're waiting on the next 2 Hellions to spawn. So there's very limited in how much you can do right now as Clem in terms of the Hellions. So that's the price you pay to then get very quick Marines on the map as a follow-up with a very quick stim. And those medevacs that are going to pop out too. So like I said, as the medevacs start here, it's going to come out about 5:15. We boost across the map. It'll hit around 5:45 to 6 minutes. And that's the time you're looking to get here from Clem. Put some damage on, put some pressure on. Elazer shouldn't really die to this. But of course, that's always a possibility. You know, whenever you play against a Terran who does some kind of aggression at some stage, there is a possibility that they just kind of die. You know, the Zerg kind of dies. And ooh, I actually really like what we've done here. So this is actually maybe even more aggressive than I was talking about originally. He went back into Hellion production, so it's not double medevac. It's actually going to be more Hellions. He's going to turn this into a stim bio Hellbat attack. It's a really funky build here from Clem in game 1. Very difficult for Elazer to identify. And the problem is he's 40 seconds away from a Baneling nest. He's going to have to fight this without Banelings against Hellbats and Stim Marines. Oh, this is a nice little switch up from Clem to maybe catch Elazer feeling comfortable and then to really say, no, you shouldn't have been feeling comfortable at all. You know, he's taken a 4th base. He's just got Lings and Queens. He's on 70 drones already. Oh, no, this is not good. The couple Marines here will... Oh, get rid of the Ling before it gets too much info. Doesn't really matter. Now these Hellions show up and Elazer's going to be like, wait, why do you have so many Hellions? Why are they morphing into Hellbats? Here we go, pushing forward. Okay, Elazer does start to morph in Banes. Clem has some time before they are done. If he can push far enough forward here, that's obviously got some potential in it. He sees them. He's getting a lot of the Overlords. That's his priority on the target fire right now. He has the Hellbats split in the front, so he's hoping to get a lot of the kills with the Hellbats. The Banes, actually beautiful micro, leaving the Hellbats to tank a lot. And he trades very well, I think, Clem, if nothing else. Elazer's Baneling showed up at just the right time. That Baneling nest, if it was a few seconds later, he was in trouble. Elazer survives, but it's already expensive. Resources lost is kind of even, but he got hit by a lot of Overlord losses. He had money in the bank that he wasn't spending. The only good side of this is he was kind of on a higher drone count than maybe he should have been originally. And he is now going to come out on a melee upgrade lead because Clem didn't start his engineering base as quick as he might usually. Good hold from Elazer. Clem, I still don't mind what he was able to get done. You know, you had a Queen, you take out some of those Banes. That forces another round of Banelings. And all he really lost was the Hellbats. I mean, the Hellbats trading out for Ling Bane, that's generally fine. Remember, he's on 3cc, so while the Zerg economy's been pretty sick, Clem's economy has also been working up a storm as well. Nice little target fire there. Grabs another Baneling. Widowmine's now going to join the fray. Is that going to go? Not dead center. Good splits on the Lings last second. Armory's already done, so those Widowmines are invisible already until you get detection up here. No Overseer ready yet, so they might get a chance to drop a second set. Big part of this right now is that the creep spread on this bottom side has just been non-existent. Okay, Widowmines are going to get caught as the Overseers show up. The Medivacs load up Marines, bring them off to the left-hand side. Just going to be seeing everything else from Elazer. Setting up as well a few Widowmines from Clem. Will come out from the top. Go across over the right. And Claw is about to finish up. All of these Widowmines still building. Prince is going to stem. All of the Lings taking a lot of damage. And workers go down pretty much immediately. A little bit of a drop here in the main base too. Widowmine's having a good time. Well, Clem's going to keep up the pressure coming in from the left. And get straight on top of that Queen, and now through to get even more drones. I mean, Clem's just bringing the pressure all over the map. The Hydras are out, but they just ain't getting close enough to any of these Medivacs to shut it down. 15 workers killed. And guess what? Liberator in the main gets a couple extra kills before it goes down to a Spore Crawler. And behind this, Clem, 4th base, hello. He's about to hit 2. Elazer's about to hit 2-2. Clem's got 2-2 on the way. The upgrades are definitely one of the bigger problems here. Elazer, as Hive comes up, I imagine is going to add on a Lurker Den. He has enjoyed playing Lurkers lately. And especially so on this map. I watched him play a game against Hero Marine on this map where he played Lurkers. And he was actually in a pretty good spot. But then Hero Marine mega dropped him to death, which is one of my concerns about maybe if he does play it here against Clem. Because obviously Clem is already doing so much with the initial drops. Io comes back up the top side. The Marine's going to lift away and escape over the left-hand side. A few extra Banelings of Elazer are already morphing in. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, these Medivacs, they're not in any trouble. If the Hydras are off creep, they're not going to catch them. So, Medivacs can just back away, take their time, figure out when they want to maybe make a turn and do something else. As the laser reach is being maxed out, we see a couple of Lings in this mineral line. One SCV killed off, and on the right side, a lone Widowmine gets to 21 kills. Now some more Widowmines showing up, and oh no! You're kidding me, 9 kills as he hits drones and Lings alike. I think a Baneling got caught there as well. Again, he's just finding ways to deal damage. The Queen's attacking its hive, so it's just not going to bring... He's not going to bring attention over to that. He's just going to let this hive slowly take some damage. Queen injects and will stop, realizing it's kind of funny. You go from, you know, hitting it and like attacking it to being like, you know what, I'm just gonna inject some stuff into you instead. It's kind of a weird relationship. Apparently Clem nearly wanted to bring his SCVs across the map. I think that was just a misclick. So he got his army together. The rest of the SCVs didn't move, right? No. And he might have actually just lifted the base for a moment accidentally as well. I don't know. There's a couple of possibilities that could have happened there. This Widow Mine, remember, was... these two Widow Mines were saved. Trying to find a way back in, but he takes a few shots from Hydras, and that means the medevac is low. Limits the choices. Well, Clem, if you ever wondered if Clem wanted to play some late game, guys, look at this. 4 command centers in production as we speak. 4 freaking command centers! Gonna see a few Banes. Gonna keep on pushing through, but getting picked off so far. I think Clem's very ready to let this go into a long game, but he's still being so aggressive. These Hydras just can't stand up for themselves. That's why I'm kind of surprised we never saw the Lurker Den come through. I mean, what's happening with Hive? +3 carapace and adrenal glands? That ain't exactly doing much for you right now, is it? Obviously, this is Clem attacking before those upgrades are in play, but I'm just surprised there's no progress on the army. Okay, there's a Viper as well. It gets a Blinding Cloud down. Loses the Viper is okay. You get, again, good Blinding Cloud initially, but then the next Viper goes down too, so that's 2 dead Vipers. This one siege tank left behind will get a few more shots off, clean up a couple extra Banes. I mean, Clem still has Bio running rampant on the right-hand side. He's not even lifted up. He's ready to push again. Maybe just a bit too much army here to push back into, but point still stands. He was not, you know, forced to lift up. He was not forced to leave. That's how well Clem did in that fight, as he thinks twice about the 5th base on the right side, realizing that Elazer just got a bit of momentum over here. Might take one of these to the left, and he's just going to morph in triple orbital. So he's pretty committed to getting the right side base set up. One Baneling. It's a very good shot off. The problem is these Hydras, if there's no Banes or Lings in front of them, they take a lot of damage very quickly. So you got to be very careful about that as Lings go down. The command center doesn't land. Oh my god, that Ling just escapes the scan. I mean, honestly, why can't we just land on top of a Burrowed Ling? Like, you know what? We don't even have to kill it. Just mean it just can't unburrow. Unless it's strong enough to flip the command center over. You know what I'm saying? Makes sense to me. You know? Aye. Someday. Bio army moving around the right. We do see this medevac of Marines going to take to the left-hand side again already. Hatchery is going to get dropped just like that, and still pressing forward. Clem on the right side. He does not want to let this base go up. Now, I mean, the left-hand side still is on as well. Clem, I don't know why he moved back. Honestly, he sat here just doing fantastic. Picking off drones as they transferred into position. These Banes. Oh my god, Clem, repair the planetary. He's going to save it. Doesn't even lose the base. That's actually really nice because he doesn't even have another command center ready to go. They're all morphed into orbitals. And he doesn't want to play in orbital command here. He wants the planetary for reasons like this. You know, make sure you have to force Banelings to deal with it instead of, you know, just plain pure Zergling run-bys. Oh, that's so expensive for Elazer to not actually get rid of the base, and then he's still losing this base over here. This drop becomes active on the left side. Lings are going to run in, but really not have much luck either. Marine's just going to lift off and go elsewhere. Just going to be seeing a couple of Blinding Clouds. Nice Blinding Clouds as well. Hits all of the siege tanks in the end, but Clem's already playing off of an advantage. He's going to lift up and get away, and that's what I think is just so tough to deal with. You know, you're letting Clem control the map. You don't have lurkers to hold certain positions down, so Clem just fights wherever he wants to fight. Oh, you can't fight here? Lift up, back away, because there's no way to punish that. At least with the lurkers, you hold positions and you force Clem to not be able to attack in certain places as easily. And on the other side of that, you know, on the other side of that as well, I mean, there were Banelings. 1, 2. They got there in the end. Drop back onto this bottom side. Yeah, on the other side of that, right, I mean, it's just like the lurkers can also just do so much more offensively than what the Lingbane Hydra can do at the moment as well. So I just feel like I mean, there's the lurker den now, but that's like 5 minutes too late. This should have come down in sync with the hive. This should have been a setup that Elazer was already making. Climb around the right is a little bit of a run by over here. Ling Hydra I mean, just a couple tanks are doing so well, and just going to hold it off long enough. Now Clem gets this next base on the right side set up as well. So base 6 already on the way up here. 16 minutes deep into this TvZ. That's Elazer. A handful of units over on this left side. A few Marines and a couple of tanks on the right. Calm down for a moment, but only for a second while Clem sets up the scan, drops a few creep tumors. Things on the right side getting caught pretty much right away. There's the otherlings. Mainly find the tanks. I mean, these are pretty good trade outs for Elazer, right? You know, they're good catches. And you're trading well until the lings then run into the planetary and the rest of the bio, but they're still you know, cleaning out units which are a bit more expensive to replace. I like that he's only got a couple of ghosts, by the way. Like, this is not an army composition where you want, like, 20 ghosts. Like, maybe now when the lurkers start coming up, but before now, when it's pure Lingbane Hydra, the worst thing you can do is build, like, a massive ghost, because Lingbane Hydra, you know, you can just run Lingbane Hydra into ghosts at the end of the day. So if you go too heavy on the ghost, you're missing too much of everything else. I love that Clem's been very careful about what he's built and when, and how he's teched up. He kills this base and defends this attack. Again, I feel like this is maybe starting to be a little bit of Terran biased commentary, but Clem's playing pretty darn good right now. And I just feel like I have criticisms of how Elazer chose to go forward from here. And it's just the little things right now. He lets this Widowmine get a big shot into the center of the Hydras. That hurts quite a lot. Pushing up this right side. Gets a Blinding Cloud at least, but still got to get rid of the SCVs that are repairing. And, well, 5 lurkers. Clem? Okay, sorry, there's 6 lurkers. Probably is a bit too much to attack into. But he's defending the base, and that's the most important part, is he's also going to get his new command center out to the left side. And Elazer can barely defend or defeat the current base, never mind the next one along. And he's just been so caught up. Because Clem's been everywhere, right? Because Clem's been so good at controlling where Elazer can be. And we're only just now starting to see +3 attack upgrades coming through as well for Elazer. I wonder how much that maybe would have come into effect also. That one lurk has been cancelling so many of the ghost snipes as Clem says, I've had enough. I'm just going to stim in. You've got 2 lurkers left, mate. Like, that's not enough. I would like him to scan the 2 lurkers, mind you. As he was actually starting to get into a better and better position for the splash damage. Elazer just can't fight back against that much Terran, and Clem plays a pretty beautiful game. 36,000 resources lost, by the way, to 19,000 at the end of the game. Like, hello? That's just ridiculous. That's just disgusting. GG's. Clem played some beautiful TvZ, and that's what we kind of expect out of Clem. That's second map in the top left-hand side, our blue Zerg taking the 1-0 lead. It is Elazer from Argo. He is against the red Terran in the bottom right from Team Liquid. Let's hear it. If you're cheering on, Clem. Game number 2. Elazer is not up 1-0. He is down 1-0, sorry. Scores the wrong way around. Don't mind me. It's been a long day, guys. We've been live 9.5 hours so far. We cast the Gold Series Team Championship All-Stars to start the day, and that was the first 6 hours of the stream, and we're 3 best of 5s deep in this second tournament of the day so far. It's been a lot of fun, hasn't it? Honestly, I've really enjoyed the games today. Today's games have been great. Honestly, the Chinese event, it kind of dragged a little bit because the games were okay in the Chinese event, but then the production was really good, but it was like very slow. But I mean, because the games were still good, I was in a good mood to cast these European League matches. Yeah, very exciting. All right, game 2. What happens here then? SCV coming across the map, so Clem looking for an early scout. Clem had 2 factories last game. Clem had 3 factories last game. At the end of the game. I mean, it depends what part you're talking about. He was on 2 at some point, but at the end he was producing like 3 tanks at a time in his reproduction. I didn't mind it. He was up against Lingbane Hydra, a few Vipers. Like, if you just, produce masses of tanks there, it's just such a good backline. So what you're playing against, it goes such a long way to helping out. Keep going in, couple of drones are moving back and forth. TvZ, a second time here from Clem. I mean, you do that too much, and that's something that Elazer will punish. He is not afraid of building roaches. He is not afraid of, hitting the timing if that's what he feels like he needs to do to win. I feel like maybe you get away with it this time as Clem, but I don't think you can do it a third game after this, because I feel like in the third game, especially if Elazer's like down 2-0, I think that's when Elazer absolutely, no matter what, will switch it up maybe to try a bit of aggro to try and get a lead early or something like that. Cryptoma very safely placed to make sure it's kept out in the back, and just the Reaper of Clem. Gonna make a turn back up to the top side. Yeah, TvZ about to finish up. Is just going to be seeing a Reaper coming back around, going to hop down. There's a couple of Hellions going to show up, and of course there's an Evo team. Even that's kind of annoying, right? Like, it's a lot of minerals right away just to block a couple of units from doing more damage. Yeah. Queens are on the way up. Hellions and our Reaper will take some steps over the left-hand side here, taking down a creep tumor already. And yeah, just the stim pack building in from Clem. Factory takes off. It's going to move to a reactor on the side, and yeah, just again, Hellions, a Reaper putting some damage in, taking a creep tumor down. A couple of extra racks. Very different to the last game though, because he's got this Liberator out. The Hellion count is at 6, so it's that little bit extra as well. It's not just the 4. And again, it's just this Hellion Lib into Stim. You've got a 3cc behind all of this, so your economy's going to be pumping. And let's see what the Lib can do. Right now, the one thing that's an issue is there's no Spore Crawler setup, so you're purely reliant on Queens to defend. Pull too many Queens one way, the Hellions are going to hit another way, and that's where this becomes an issue. Laser pulls the drones last second. Nicely done. Doesn't lose anything. That's really nicely done. Alright, well, the problem with Clem is he's so good at being annoying with this Liberator. And look at this, he just repositions once, twice, third time. And now you're just kind of talking about a Liberator that's denied mining for 15 or seconds or more of an entire mineral line. This Queen's going to get pushed away again. Takes another shot. Finally, the Spore is done. And basically, oh, Clem, I think he believed there was going to be an Evo chamber there. Oh, and he missed the opportunity to actually dive in for even more damage on this third base. He actually trades out for a lot of the lings. He actually makes this an okay trade overall. That's a lie. It's not that good. 16 lings. I thought it was a few more. Okay, well, the denied mine on the natural is great. What happened here is I think Clem believed there was about to be an Evo, so he's like, okay, I'm going to back away. But he actually blocked the Evo, and he could have maybe just gone for drones, but he took that second step back. He was like, wait, what? And he was just kind of caught a bit off guard almost by his success. And because of that, obviously, it fell apart. I mean, if you kill like 10 drones in this, then this is absolutely fine. Obviously, losing all the Hellions just for 16 lings. I thought he'd killed like 24 lings. But just 16, not really that fantastic. Especially, I mean, again, it's weird. Resources lost doesn't tell you everything because this Liberator denied so much mining. I mean, look at that chunk of mining that Clem takes advantage in. So, resources lost favors Elazer, yes. But Clem has had a good opening in terms of mining denied. I'm worried again, though, once more, the upgrades from Clem are pretty darn late when you compare them to Elazer. Elazer's 1-1 is already coming up to completion. Clem's 1-1 is, well, barely started. SCVs are trapped behind the engineering base. This is, honestly, I feel like we should nickname that the Wardy maneuver, because that was just a I do that every game when I play. Get my SCVs, build my engineering base somewhere my SCVs can get trapped in. Happens all the time. But yes, the engineering base is late, and right now a little bit of a ling run by, having a very good time into this natural expansion. And a few of these lings are going to start going down. A lot of these lings are going to go down. Fourth base from Clem. He just says, I think he knows he's just lost a bit too much to really make anything super aggressive work, so he's not afraid for just going into, you know, base number 4 and continuing on from there. I think he's very happy with, with just taking it in that kind of a direction. It's 9 drones. As our Marines continue to push up to the top. Another couple of Widow Mines are going to burrow as well. Oh, Lord, takes a hit. 9 drones down. Across the map, 3 SCVs have fallen as well. A little bit of a linger by continuing. And this is where the dance back and forth between the two players really begin. Wow, okay. So Clem's Marines just ran the other way to get a medevac, and they literally ran past the banelings and survived. How? How does that happen? Obviously, Elazer just looking elsewhere at that moment and couldn't capitalize. Straight to the infestation pit once the hydrogen is up. Let's see when he wants to add in the lurker den this time around. We're getting set for a very similar scenario to the last game in terms of how things are playing out and the styles the players are wanting to play. I'm already being very aggressive with a lot of these Widow Mines and so on, and making those moves already. Widow Mines burrow 1, 2, 3, 14 drones. This is something Elazer just has to improve on. You just can't lose 10 plus drones every time he drops Widow Mines. Otherwise, he's just going to drop Widow Mines all game long, which is kind of what he did last time as well, right? That's the problem. Now we're going to see these Widow Mines up the left. On a burrow, he's just going to get a couple here. Oh, nice little extractor trick. Didn't get a kill. Another one was left. He's just going to take one into the natural, and it's... How? 7? I think it was 6, and there was already 1 dead on this side, but 6 more from that? Like, it almost feels like it shouldn't. It almost feels unfair, but Elazer knows this medevac's going there. Like, it's not as though he can't do anything about it. And Clem's just gone on a drone massacre the last few moments. He just pushes forward. Is there no banelings up? Only 9 banelings currently on the map. Clem doesn't want to get too adventurous, but he gets a lot of creep spread one on his side right in that moment. 30 drones now killed in the game. I mean, that's just Widow Mine damage for the most part, right? He didn't do any damage early game with Hellions. These Widow Mine drops have been really brutal. Clem backs away. There's the lurker den. Much faster. Not really, not quite lined up with the hive, but fair enough. Maybe you want to prioritize 3-3. You want to prioritize adrenal glands. But at least the lurker den's coming in more quickly this time around. It was very slow last game. And again, that was my one real outstanding criticism. That was the most obvious criticism, I think. And Elazer's fixing it. He's changing it. He's doing it differently. And I'm a big fan of that. Hydra wants to move into the middle. Coming into the center here. Feeling's being picked away at. A Baneling goes through. Medevacs, Marines, Marauders up the right-hand side. Seeing where they can get to as well as we are going to be seen a little bit more cleaned out up on the top. The 2 Medevacs of Clem now are going to make their way over to the left-hand side. Stims in, and a few of these drones already being picked away at us. Okay, and just Clem keeping the action up on multiple sides. He's got units here to help against the Banelings. Oh no! What? Oh my god. Every little thing is just going right for Clem. He's got some units. The depots blow up, and then the Widow Mine takes down the rest. I mean, that's like 20 Banelings for what? 3 depots? It's just not worth it. Clem doesn't even get supply blocks. Oh my god, this Widow Mine finds a connection too. The Widow Mines have just been disgusting in this series so far, I've got to say. And I mean, I don't know if it's just Elazer's had some good micro against mines. It's just not consistently enough. And obviously a lot of the time here as well, we're talking about Widow Mines that are also just dropping into mineral lines he's not replying to. I mean, you keep letting that happen, you're going to be in trouble for sure. I want to get to these lurkers. Oh, I'm sorry, I clicked away when we had the little bit of a burrowed Baneling play. I didn't see it in the ground. Obviously, neither did Clem. He actually lost quite a lot of units to that one. There's another one right here. Oh, he's clicked away at a horrible moment. As the Hydra's coming in for the harassment now. These Banelings will not be walked over. He actually left this Widow Mine in the corner. Actually got a few kills. I think the Lings might have came in for it. It's still alive, by the way. There's an overseer on the way over. I think Elazer kind of knows. Expects, maybe. Maybe not. Widowmine's gonna get to fire once more. And he might be able to just shift it into the mineral line. I might not be even thinking about it. He's brought the medevac back home at this stage. Fifth base came up on the top right corner, by the way. So that fifth base comes up. I want to miss this Widowmine. There's also these banelings up over here. Problem is, if this becomes a base, you might miss our turret this base. And if you miss our turret, then you probably find those burrowed banes without much issue. So let's see how it plays out. The Lurk is making the aggressive play up. I mean, this is what Elazer couldn't really do last game with his army because he just didn't have the Lurkers for so long, and it's absolutely backfired. He had a good start, but Clem just comes in from all angles and just wipes it off the map. That was every Lurker that just died. Every Lurker. Nothing left. Elazer has no gas to rebuild many Lurkers with. He builds 3 after rebuilding a lot of Hydras, and that's it. This Widowmine came back in, got 2 more drones just now. Hides in the corner again. I mean, even just this forces the Spore Crawler to relocate. This is what's so annoying about playing against Clem. He uses every unit to the absolute maximum it can do. Right? He gets everything out of anything he builds. And that's just it's just so frustrating to play against someone who can do that. Elazer runs in. Arguably maybe not enough like Marines here to actually just take down the Zerglings. Marauders obviously don't do well against Lings taking multiple shots and being slow to fire. And Clem will lose this base. At the same time, Lurkers get sieged up down here. I like it a lot more though. Elazer is taking the steps toward controlling this game. He's making sure that he's the one that's dictating fights. He's the one that's saying, oh yeah, maybe we do this, maybe we do that. I think Clem just dropped a scan and then this Lurker burrowed out of scan range. Slightly unfortunate as... Otherwise, I mean, there's no Banes there, so there might not have been much else to stop him. Probably part of the reason he can't really deal with these Lurkers just yet either. He doesn't have a scan over there. A couple of his tanks are just on siege in the middle of nowhere too. He saves one of them, at least in the medevac. Burrowed Banes go down, but that forces a scan as well. And right now, we've got to talk about the scan economy in this game. We only have 3 orbitals, right? Okay, we're on 4 orbitals. Last game, remember, Clem built 3 extra orbitals outside of his natural. This game, he's on 4, so he's limited when it comes to scans. When he's got a scan over here, he's got a scan over there. You've got to scan burrowed banelings. You can't deal with the Lurkers because you need to scan. Like, he's actually maybe a little bit stressed when it comes to scans. I wouldn't mind an extra command center like this one here being an orbital. Because he's going to get these bases. I mean, I think that's the plan anyway. I think it's a good plan. Because right now, it actually has kind of been part of the problem. In a couple of these moments. Fire trying to come in, not doing much. At this point, is it worth to get a Raven? So the Raven's an interesting idea, but I think the problem is you're assuming Vipers are going to come up soon, and then it just gets killed by a Viper. And it's just, I just don't know if it's worth it. Because it's not like you need the energy for mules. So I think it's you're just likely to end up without the Raven in a fight anyway and having to scan anyway. Like, it's not like you're worried about losing scans like when you play against DT's early game. Then a Raven's amazing because the scan, by scanning the DTs, you're hurting your economy, but economy's not really an issue for Clem. He has enough bases, he has enough SCVs. He's not reliant on mules at the moment. As these Lurkers causing an issue, he's going to come in from 2 sides eventually. No, he's just going to take a ton of damage. The Marauder's taking a beating up there. Snipes down the... Snipes the Overseers, which maybe means the Ghost could cloak up. Does he have cloak for the Ghost? He doesn't. Maybe just saving Widow Mines. He does end up coming through to clean up the Lurkers, but it took a long time. And the Ling's still pushing through into the natural, and I think Elazer's going to keep going through. I mean, it's a lot of Ghosts going down. This was a little... it took Clem a little while to really get this position cleaned up. Honestly, I'm about to talk about scans again, because I feel like the command centers, the orbitals that were there, have now gone. They only have 3 orbitals, so yeah, he lost one, and I think one of them might even still be flying. Okay, it's probably just landed. Supplies are even. Elazer also lost a lot attacking in, but he's got bases around the map, and he's got 86 drones to build up economy with. And that's the difference to the last game. Last game, he traded so much worse than what he's trading right now. And I think the Lurkers really are a big reason to say thank you to that. They've really caused a lot of these fights from Clem to be way less effective than the last time around. And it really means that Elazer can afford to keep on fighting like this again and again. Johnson has to lift. SCVs are going to mass repair these tanks. They're going to target down one lurker, 2, 3. The Marines showing up as well, and that's a hell of a save on these siege tanks, by the way. They were MVPs. They got rid of the lurkers. Lurkers burrow up over here, though, and Clem maybe doesn't have an answer to that. SCV's having to go running, lifting the orbitals yet again. In the bottom left corner, he's just cleaned up a base, and he'll probably get this one, too. There's nothing around from Elazer to fight that off. There's a queen moving over for transfusion. He can transfuse a few times. There's another queen showing up. Clem sees the units arrive, and he's going to back away. Good save from Elazer, but he left these lurkers unattended. They will go down without gaining much else, and Clem just about staying ahead on the supply counts. He lost a lot of SCVs now, though, so his economy's hurting more than before. And now we maybe talk about having to scan a little bit more as actually being a problem, because maybe he could do with some extra mules right now. He'd also do with some extra gas, I think. He's not mining here properly. He's obviously mined out in the natural, I mean, where he isn't, he's not mining properly. Yeah, he could do with an extra geyser or just fixing a couple of the gases which he's got set up otherwise. Feels like Clem just never has enough to fight in the right places almost, you know? Like here he does, and that's the first time I feel like Clem's had enough to just fight immediately in a long time. Same over here, right? Took him a little while to get the units together to fight this. He's up 20 army supply. It's just, where is that army supply? It's all over the map, and that's what Elazer's done. He's drawn Clem out all over the place. He's made this very, very interesting. Things down the bottom right, Marauders and Marines just peeling away. Tank goes down, the Lings go down. Marines in the bottom left going to be able to take this hatchery down as well, so hatchery will fall. Supply is still good for Clem right now. Continuing to come over this left-hand side, and you do have the Lurkers going to burrow up on the top right. So Lasers once again looking to deny a base. Clem will deny a base too. I mean, the base denial has been a pretty big deal for a long time here. On both sides, really. I mean, Lasers also not exactly been mining bases comfortably, right? Loses Lurkers. Now he's losing drones. I mean, Clem's going to lose another base. He just can't fight those Lurkers. This is where Liberators would be really nice, but Clem's never been in a position to afford, like, Liberators just against these Lurkers. Because if you have Liberators, you can set up a couple Libs and stop stuff like this without there being Hydras there. Because right now, it is like the pure Lurker run-bys that may be causing the most chaos. Clem has just picked off so many bases. There's only really this topside base left. He's going to get this new base bottom. I mean, they're both mining off like half a base, but Clem also has the top right still, and that top right is essential. And the good thing about this base for Clem is he can lift it up because it's an orbital command, so you can actually just run it the hell away. Has to wait a little bit before he tries to clean up these Lurkers. Give it a few moments, but he'll get there. Oh, a tank going to get yoinked in. Nice to see the Vipers being brought into play as well. Hit it by on the right-hand side. The Lurker's going to get stimmed into. He actually doesn't have that much from the right. He's going to target down 2, 3 of the Lurkers. One left. The bio's a little low. Does he have anything from these ghosts? Maybe a snipe onto the Vipers. There's a Lurker left alive. Clem needs to realize that he needs to find himself a scan. He's trying to land the orbital for a scan. The tank blew up a few of the bio units. There's the scan. It's actually in range of the tank, that Lurker. Oh my god, it's being mass transfused. It's being kept alive. Don't let it live. It survives. He has to scan again. The ghost has to lift off. Clem has lost so much here. He's losing SCVs as well. And this fight might have just gone heavily in Elazer's favor. Problem is, the army supplies are still similar. And Elazer's got 66 drones with 30 SCVs, but he doesn't have anywhere to mine from with those drones because Clem eliminated every base that was left on the map, apart from the top. All of these drones have nowhere to mine from. So Elazer's supply advantage doesn't necessarily mean that much. He's losing Hydras and they get chased down by Marauders up the right side. A couple of Lings show up. They'll be in some trouble. Creep Tumor cleaned out Clem. I mean, Clem just having a mining base is the advantage in the game. Elazer is legitimately long-distance mining with every drone he owns, meaning that this is currently an even economy game on the bottom right income tab. Look at that. How even can this get for being so far apart? tries to build an expansion bottom left. It's got to be Clem's priority. It's scary to leave your mining base alone, and this base is an orbital alone, but you can't let this base get up. Otherwise, Elazer's economy is going to be booming, and then he's going to be able to get back in the army game. Look at the gas count for Elazer. He has so much. He's missing out on minerals. And so denying this base is so big for that exact reason. You can't let him get the minerals off this. You just can't. Elazer sees that this base is back down for Clem. We are 23 minutes deep on Lightshade. Clem leads this best of 5, 1-0, looking for a chance to advance to the winner bracket finals, where they would play Showtime if they win here in the European League. Lurkers get sniped. Another lurker actually cancels the snipe this time. Now unburrows, reburrows, but it gets sniped in the end. There's a Widow Mine over here somehow. How did that get there? Again, this is a slow play to try and clean out this base. Clem realizes the importance of this position. The Laser doesn't have the units to make it happen, and Clem is going to win it 2-0. What a ridiculous game on Lightshade. I thought Clem had lost it, but then it all made sense. GG. As we have in the top left-hand side, whipping up a storm in the last 2 games, the Red Terran player, this is Team Liquid's Clem. Bottom right, our blue Zerg player is Elazer. As we get into map 3, honestly, Elazer, I think, had that last game at points. It was close. It was close. Again, I just want to say thank you very, very much to Slownot, the $50, Snoopy T for the $10, the Marty Monty, the 1500 bits, especially. So thank you guys just one more time for the love. That's that's a real crazy slew of donations right there in the last couple of minutes. Thank you so much. All right, just before this game gets crazy, right? Because we know what's coming. This truly is the calm before the storm. SCV of Clem will make its way out down to the bottom right side. Obviously, a good little scout down here. Is it going to actually sit on the 3rd hatchery? So it looks like you might want to try and stop that from coming up. It is an interesting question, because do you want to take the 3rd hatch over here? No. Tanks behind here, push along here. It's going to be a miserable time for you as the Zerg player. So you kind of have to deal with this SCV or accept the later expansion. Either way, I think it's definitely one of the maps we'll see a lot of this SCV blocking the 3rd base on, especially from players that like to do that, such as Clem. As the Ripper and the Lings do dance. It's going to be a 3cc from Clem yet again. Still not moving off of that. Elazer still not really looking to do much about it either, in fairness. Ripper back along the bottom side. We do have the SCV of Clem moving to the upper left, and Ling speed is about halfway done. Few Lings, the Queen. Some damage out on the Reaper, which just about manages to slide away. He's going to get into the natural expansion and drops a grenade to get us started off. I think this Reaper might be dead, guys, but it's Clem. Never count Clem's Reaper as dead until you see it drop down dead, because that's honestly, I'm pretty sure Clem's Reapers work differently to other people's Reapers in the sense that they survive much longer than they ever really should. Grenade here pushes the Queen back. It's going to regen a little bit. He knows where the Queen is, so he's going to work his way around. The Lings want to surround, but yeah, he gets on creep, he gets Ling speed. It's not as fun when they get Ling speed. You can't dodge your way from speedy Lings, can you? No, you can't. Alright, well, 2 Hellions in the center. Need to move around. A couple of barracks on the way up from Clem as well. Factory moves off. Resurrect's going to lift over to the reactor in just a few moments. A couple of Hellions are coming back in. You're going to see that 3rd hatchery, so you see about the 3rd right from the start. Yeah, just waiting for this lair to come through. Obviously, here's a faster lair. So you want to know the hatchery's coming down at least in the end, and obviously the faster lair is kind of a repercussion from having that blockage initially. And I wonder what Elazer does with it. Very possible we maybe see just a fast Spire into fast Mutalisks. I quite like Clem's build against fast Mutalisks, though. You know, barracks are pretty quick. He's going to have stim pack already. Feels difficult to really do much about that as the swaparoo happens. We'll see the factory going to make a reactor for the starport as well. And that is our Spire from Elazer. Can you make something aggressive out of this? Can you potentially go like single medevac, reactor a few more Hellions, and armory it up like earlier? Because that's the sort of attack which is also very good against the Mutas. It hits as the fast Mutas pop out. And obviously, if you're forcing Banelings to be made defensively, which is possible, the Bane Nest is coming down. If you're forcing Banelings to be made defensively, then you're actually also at the same time in a position where you're stopping the Mutas from coming out because they're spending gas on Banelings. So if you can force that before the Mutas are made, that's also pretty nice. There's the armory. I think we are going to take a trip back to game number 1 in terms of how this build is going to play out here. The Hellions come along to the side. The Lings back away. I mean, the Hellions actually going to be able to delay a 4th base. These are just straight up to 66 drones. Yeah, again, big commitment here from Clem. He doesn't have engineering base, so he doesn't have 1-1 upgrades. Although he did actually... Oh, wow, he goes second factory. Oh, I'm so confused. Okay, this is not quite what I was expecting. I kind of thought we were going back to what was happening in game number 1, but not the case. He just goes for a very fast second factory. So fast drilling claws? Okay, I was confused. I was very convinced we were going to see something similar to game 1. Especially because we obviously saw we obviously saw what was happening in that first game as well. Kind of obviously makes you wonder as we continue through. Let's see, a couple of shots going down. The Hellions putting some damage out. He's going to get a cancel on the 4th. And the delay he's getting on this 4th base is becoming an issue. Target fires all the Banelings bar 1. He actually missed one. That's not very often that happens, but now he gets all of them. Now there's 8 SCVs down across the map. The Muta's showing up, having a good time, but this was a hell of a push in from Clem so far, and these Marines are pretty much healed up. That 4th base is getting cancelled again, guys. Like, these Lings are not going to make the difference here. I don't believe it. And the hatchery is still low. He comes back in. The Lings are going to go back in. The Queen's at least putting some constant damage out, but if he just ignores the Queens and goes for the hatch, it's a cancel. And now he's like, what if I get the Queens, then I get the hatch? The Mutas are still diving around on the other side of the map, but Clem's going to win this fight. He's going to get the hatchery cancel again. This time he's got to go for the hatch. Surely, no way. He's going to let it live. Wow. That's the hatchery live. The Mutas are on the way back home, and that's why Clem's pulled these medevacs back, realizing maybe the Mutas are on the hunt. Great interception from Elazer. Gets straight over here. Okay, well, Clem lost 8 SCVs during this. He's going to lose both medevacs, so he loses everything. Doesn't get the extra cancel on this hatchery. Some more Marines coming through. Just going to be seeing another Widow Mine up in the top. All building from Clem. Let's see a 4th command center setting up as well. A few depots work their way out to the right side of the map also. Continue to push up. The Mutas over the left-hand side. Elazer going to go to the upper left. As Marine goes down, Widow Mine blows off, picks off, blows up, picks off a Mutalisk. Game style is down for a bit. I like Clem's upgrade lead, but he's a little bit slow to go to 2-2. That's one thing, right? So maybe Elazer can catch up a bit, especially that +2 bomb is still not starting up. Obviously, we're going to see a very different style from Elazer in the first place anyway. The fact that this is now Lingbane Muta instead of Lingbane Hydra is going to be a big difference between the last couple games. He's going to fly over that left-hand side. Command Center wanting to push forward. Widow Mine taken down already. The few Marines stimming through. A couple missile turrets are setting up. And yeah, I mean, looks like Clem will get a 4th base without too many issues here. The one thing I always think about Romanticide, and I've been saying this a lot today, is I really feel like those back bottom bases for the laser, it feels like those are untouchable. Like, it feels like it's so difficult to get to those. Maybe this left side attack path into here can be good until the creep is up. That's really about it. Oh, these medevacs are in a bit of trouble. Actually, even flying over a couple of queens. He's actually going to save them. His reinforcements got there to be scary enough. Now, this is tough for Clem because you're about to fight into a ton of Banes if you move down there, and then you've got a Ling Muta counterattack that you just can't hold on the other side of the map. I think Clem's realizing that he's in a spot of bother as these Marines try and pull in to fight this, but that's too many Mutas. Now Clem's going to start pulling back home. He might actually just straight up lose the third command center. I mean, that is what's currently happening. Widowmine's burrow up. SCVs get here. Does not save the day. Command center goes down. Oh, that's a real shame. He's actually just going to relocate his main right from the start to try and replace that, saying there's more minerals available on the third, more mining I can get out of the third base than in the main base. Makes a lot of sense as this medevac, both the medevacs go down. So that will be 2 dead medevacs. And the Thor's obviously, yeah, not doing so hot, huh? Well, the mutas aren't even really penned in. They could just fly. I mean, they can fly out and kill this Thor. They can fly into the main base. Widow mines are still there, but he sees them. He actually snipes one down. Now, this is the power of the mutas, right? Everything's about a laser. Clem's not really getting a chance to do much. He's going to get a new base out over here. Remember, he's only going to have 2 of those orbitals, so he's only got 2 scans available at the time right now. If he wants to try and pick up info, he's actually scanning on the map to see where a laser is expanding to. Kind of checking on these bases, figuring out where he needs to push. That's why I choose to spend his scans. 11 more mutas from a laser. Non-stop on this muta production at the moment. As Clem moves out to 5th base, starts a new command center already. Well, as he picks off a couple of changes, he's going to get in over here, but that's just too many Lings and Banes. You just don't fight this successfully. The Widowmine shots, they don't really find much either, do they? They swap targets a couple times. They don't go dead center anywhere. Good cleanup by a laser. And Clem just going to try and hold a 5th base, but I feel like Clem's army is tiny. He's got a lot to this right-hand side trying to defend as well. And the problem is now a laser's going to run in here with absolutely everything that he owns. Clem doesn't have the planetary fortress to help himself out. He's going to save whatever SCVs he can, but it's just not going to happen. Now he might even lose the planetary, and if he loses that command center, I just don't think he can really stay in this game. These Banes just go rolling through. They don't kill that planetary at least. I'm just going to get out of there. Doesn't like it. The laser takes map number 3. And we have got ourselves a 4th game in this. Top right-hand side, he's kept this series alive for another map at the very least. The red Zerg, he was down 0-2, fighting back a laser. As he takes on the blue Terran. In the bottom left from Team Liquid, this is Clem. Go into game number 4 of the series. You guys excited? I'm feeling it. Onto Oxide. I've not really got my mind made up about Oxide. I feel like it's a pretty good Terran map. The reason being is that we got a 3rd hatchery here, rocks, tanks, choke point, no flank around the top, very long flank around the bottom. It's just a horrible position to attack into. Where do you even take your 4th base? Up here? No, thank you. Over here? Meh. Rocks, choke point. Yeah, I mean, this is to me just a map of tank pushes. I think you kind of got to play mutas here if you're going to let it go long, because you just need a way to maybe pick apart the push, really. And I think that's the only real way to kind of do this, honestly. Alright, well, we'll see what Elazer decides in terms of how to approach this game, but I've just seen a lot of games go that way in favor of the Terrans, so We'll see where that goes. For now, we've got an early game to get through. A lot of this could be determined on what Clem decides to do aggressively early, how he decides to set up as well. That's obviously got some possibility. Wings, drones. Coming through early. Okay, nothing crazy then from the Reaper. I'm just going to be seeing Clem. Double gas. First time in the series he's going to go double gas here and change that up a little bit. Let's get some Cloak Banshee play here. It's either going to be Banshees, I think it is, because the starport isn't lined up nicely otherwise, so I think this is going to swap to the Tech Lab. It's going to be that, or we're going to see a Liberator into a pretty quick stim. It's going to be a Liberator into a quick stim! I was wrong. Okay, I was very wrong. Okay, Liberator into quick stim. That was going to be the play from Clem. Ooh, not quick stim, Armory! I was even more wrong than I originally imagined. Yeah, the Armory is a pretty big deal here. Clem setting that up in the back of the main base. Third hatchery of a laser on the top left side. A couple of queens. Pushing up toward the top. Get that creep tumor down, and another couple of queens coming through. Gonna set up here. Now Stimpack behind this, but let's see what this Liberator kind of Hellbat combo can do. I mean, right now cleaning up Lings in the main. Laser doesn't have much info. He has got a Bane Nest on time to defend this, so I don't think that's gonna win the game, anything crazy like that. We do have a third CC now building up behind it all as well. He sees the queens and yeah, just gonna still move in, right? Hope the Hellbat's as close as possible. The Liberator around the main, gonna try and catch a queen, which is building a creep tumor. The Banes aren't ready yet. There's the one thing right now is he actually does get one of the queens here, but there's another queen that's gonna get some shots off the Hellbats. Meanwhile, putting some damage on the third. He does lose the Liberator. Now gonna come through these. Oh my god, the drones are stuck in the corner. Okay, this is problematic. Drones are being pushed out into the middle of the map, and you know what? Reinforcing Hellions, did he build any more Hellions? He didn't. Because he hasn't built any more Hellions, he can't come in and chase these, but it's still a lot of lost mining time, and it's still 5 drones that are just, you know, dead already, right? So there is still some dead drones here. These Hellbats getting away. Don't think he'll get any more drone kills, but it's a lot of lost mining time, if nothing else. Okay, I don't mind it for Clem. He actually trades better than Elazer does. The income graph is actually not as favored as I expected it to be, if I'm going to be honest. Well, that might be a little bit better off as he goes into 1-1, so you'll have that advantage. Extra barracks already coming through, all 5 racks. He'll be moving to the 3cc position in just a little bit here, getting that set to go. We're going to fly to the left here. Marine's going to get the Ovi. That's sitting overhead. Lab building in the main. And our 4th hatchery coming up. So he does take that 4th on the right side. The only thing about this is I do feel it takes away some of that tank pressure I was talking about that might happen in this game. Obviously, when you open Hellbats like this, you're not really suddenly going to have like 3 siege tanks ready to push or something like that. Drop over here, as we're going to see Widowmine burrows up. There's just not much preparation by Elazer for this. repercussions perhaps of that earlier attack of Clem. Taking so long to be cleaned up. Widowmine goes off on the lava, which is a bit of a shame. A little bit of help onto the mirror, onto the Lings would not have gone amiss. As the drop on the main base, though, is just going to find a completely undefended main. Oh, this is horrible for Elazer, because Clem can just tuck himself in the corner here between the spawning pool and so on, and he's going to cancel a macro hatchery. He's going to start a target. He was ready to target fire down those veins. He still is. Second time, not so much, but now he'll think about dropping back down here. That's not going to go well. He'll fly to the side. And now he's going to start setting up the left side. 20 supply lead for Clem. I mean, I actually like that idea of fighting right there, because he had 1-1. There's a lot of Marines pushed through. Everything from Clem is setting up. A lot of Lings wanted to run down there, but don't quite manage it. Now even more Lings making their way down through the bottom side. 2-2 upgrades coming in from Clem right here as well. Widowmine's going to get quite a few Banelings. 2 more Lings Banes all being picked away at. Marines in the main base setting up too. Cancels a 4th base Elazer on the counter-attack, but is Clem not just doing too much? Yes, is the plain and simple answer. These drops just got out of hand. Elazer's not spending his money. The cancel on the macro hatch might have had more of an impact than we think. And that's going to be it. GG. Clem takes it down 3-1 here in the winner bracket semi-finals.